Let's begin the first class of Olympiads with chapter 5 of your physics chemistry, that is separation of substances. We have already covered almost major portion of this chapter recently. Okay. So along with this video, I have also posted one synopsis or the summary or the key points related to this chapter. So next week when I continue with this lesson, it will be of great help. Okay, children? So let's continue with the first question. Children, it's very important to read the question twice or thrice before going to the options. It's very, very important, and most of you read the question in a hurry and then rush to the options. That is a wrong way. So you have to first understand the question. In order to understand the question, because they will be posed in a very tricky manner, you have to read the question twice or thrice. Then only when you get some understanding, you have to go to the options. Okay? Let us go ahead. So X, some unknown substance, an unknown mixture, some unknown thing. X is a separation technique. It's an unknown separation technique based on difference in weights of the solids. So what is it? It is based on, this X is based on difference in the weights of the solids in a solid-solid mixture. So what is it trying to tell us? Solid-solid mixtures. What kind of mixture is it first of all? Solid-solid mixture. And what kind of technique is that? The principle is based on the difference in weight. So when you read this, first of all those separation techniques which are meant for solid-solid mixture separation should come to your mind. So tell me, what are the solid-solid mixture separation techniques? We have threshing, we have hand picking, we have winnowing, we have sieving, we have magnetic separation, right? So but based on, what is the main thing that he has told here? Based on difference in weights of the solid. Okay, that means that technique works on the principle based on the difference in the weight. So now you understood the question. Now let's go to the options. The first option is sieving. So in sieving, what do we do? Tell me, what is the principle behind sieving? This is mainly based on the difference in weights or sizes. Sieving is based on sizes, isn't it? So larger particles be inside the sieve only, and the smaller particles pass through the holes of the sieve. So their criteria is difference in the sizes, not in the weights. So this option is wrong. Did you understand? Next one is hand picking. Hand picking is not based on the weights, isn't it? So this is more important here, based on the difference in the weights and in the solid-solid mixture. So hand picking, we don't have any criteria like based on the difference of weights. So this is also wrong. Next one is threshing. You know what is threshing, right? It is separation of grains from stalks. So we don't have any grains or stalks over here. So this is also not the right option. So what are we left with? We are left with winnowing. You remember winnowing, they stand and they separate the mixture of husk and grains by pouring from a height, right? So what happens? Lighter particles, that means which are lesser in weight, they will be carried away by the wind, and those which are heavy, they fall down. So what is the correct option here? It's winnowing. So this is the right option. You understood, children? Let's go to the next question. So here, most of the times it will be asked like this to confuse you, children. Actually, there's nothing to get confused at all. It's very, very simple. See, first of all, a mixture is taken and it is filtered. What is happening here? Filtration is done. A mixture is taken, filtration is done, and we got something like P. And what we got here? We got another product, that is Q. Another component from the mixture, Q we got. After filtration, we got P and Q. Then the P is again distilled. So we got water and R is again separated. So first of all, mixture passing through a filter, we got something, and this again is distillated to get water and one more component. So what could be Q and R? let us see now the options and try to understand. For example, now one by one. So Q is water and R is sand. Okay. First of all, after filtration, anything like sand will come out first, right? So Q should be sand if it is between water and sand. So Q is not sand here. So it is a wrong option. Okay. Like that you have to eliminate one by one options, children. See the next one. Sand and water. So it could be the right one. Let us see. From a mixture, once it is filtered through a filter paper, what do we get? Insoluble impurity. We know that sand is an insoluble impurity. It might come out as one component. So Q is correct. But let us see R now. Is it water, children? Water is already given here. So R cannot be water. R should be some soluble component. Understood? So soluble component water, it is wrong again. So A is also wrong and B is also wrong. The next one is C. So now let us see the third option, salt and sugar. As you know that both salt and sugar, both are soluble components. How can you expect salt to get filtered off? Can salt be separated through filtration? No, it cannot be separated. So Q cannot be salt. Yes? Because it will pass through the filter paper and reach here. It cannot be separated. So it is also wrong. Then next, so this is also wrong. Let us consider the last option. What is that? Sand and salt. As you can now see that sand is insoluble component and salt is a soluble component of the mixture. So upon filtration, what first gets separated out? The insoluble component. So Q can be sand because it cannot pass through the filter paper. So Q can be salt. Then when you distill, now after distillation, what you get here is the soluble component will get separated out. So upon distillation, for example here, if it contains soluble component like salt, upon distillation, what we get here? The salt gets separated out and the water is again separated out. So can you see now? The D is the right option. Okay. Let us solve two more questions now. Okay. Let's go into the third question now. Let's read and understand the question well. Which of the following is an example of solid in gas mixture? So the main point that you have to remember, that you have to consider here is solid in gas mixture. That means the components of mixtures here are solids and gases together mixed. So soil, if you consider soil, basically it is solid mixture only. We have so many sand particles, we have stone particles, we have different minerals. All these are basically solid mixtures. So option A is wrong. Let us consider option B, moisture. What is moisture? It is nothing but presence of water in air, isn't it? So presence of water vapor in air. So water vapor, again it is like gas mixture, or we can say liquid in gas mixture. So this is also wrong. Moisture is nothing but presence of water, isn't it, sometimes? So that is nothing but again liquid in gas mixture. We don't want that. So it is also wrong. Let us see the third one. It is smoke. So what is smoke actually? It is nothing but very fine soot particles, or nothing but they are called as carbon particles, which are dispersed in the gas medium, nothing but in air. So smoke is nothing but dust particles or carbon particles, very fine carbon particles that are present in the air. Carbon particles are solid and air is a gas. So it is solid in gas mixture. Did you understand, children? So C option is correct. But don't stop here. Most of you do this mistake. Once you find this, you feel that this is only the correct option and maybe the next one is not, you need not consider at all. You don't do like that, children. Always check all the options, and after that only you can, sometimes what happens is there can be both options, two options also, more than one option also. So there you do a mistake. You know the answer, but because of foolishly you lose marks there. So D, what is dew now? It is also nothing but condensation of water vapor, isn't it? So the water condenses, it is liquid. So this is also not there. Here in this case, D is also a wrong option. So remember, check out all the options before choosing the correct one. Let's go to fourth question now. Here there is a table given of mixture, wanted components and unwanted components, children. First mixture is wheat flour. So the wanted component is the wheat flour and unwanted component is eggs. So something is there in that mixture which we don't want. So Y is another mixture. Name is not given, and wanted component is grain seeds and unwanted component is stalks. So basically it is a mixture of grain seeds and stalks. So based on this table, they are asking us to find out what are X and Y. So let us consider options again. The first one is X is husk. So wheat flour, flour is the wanted component, and naturally husk we don't want, so we separate it by using a sieve, isn't it? So it can be husk. So one option is correct. So the next one, sawdust. So you can see here sawdust is nowhere related to grain seeds and stalks. What is sawdust? So the waste that comes out of while processing the wood, actually while sawing the wood, or when they make the wood smoother with the help of a saw. So then we get the sawdust, and it's nowhere concerned with grain seeds and stalks. So it is a wrong option. Now, insects and husk. Okay, X can be insects. Yes, wheat flour. In the wheat flour, we want the wanted component is flour, and it can be insects. So we just remove any small insects or any husk particles or grain particles, insects also, we remove them by using a sieve. So it could be correct. So the next one is husk. So can husk be a mixture of seeds and stalks? It is also a wrong option. The third option is husk and cut paddy. So here husk, it is correct option, because we are removing husk by using a sieve, right? So X could be husk. What about cut paddy? So after harvesting, what we get is nothing but plants, or nothing but, it's called as cut paddy. So that we use to do threshing. You remember what is threshing? Separation of grains from stalks, right? So that is a mixture of both plant crops, nothing but the stems and the stalks, and the seeds also. So that is a mixture from which you get seeds and stalks. So is that option correct, children? Yes. So C option is correct. Let's see the last option. How it can be sand and husk. Here it cannot be husk. So the D option is also wrong. So this is how you have to solve and answer these Olympiad questions, children. First of all, just by looking at the question, they may look very tricky and very difficult. But once you start reading them, it becomes very, very easy for us to solve these type of questions. Okay? So next week, I'm going to come with few more questions. Okay? Till then, go through the synopsis, go through the material that I'm sending, and be prepared next time. That will really give you a lot of confidence. Thank you.